The Senate Intelligence Committee has compiled a 6,000-page report on the torture regime that existed during the Bush administration. They are set to release an executive summary, which is about 500 pages long. You'll recall, I believe it was back in March of this year, Dianne Feinstein went on the Senate floor to talk about, I guess, what Patrick Leahy called the most important speech he's heard on the Senate floor, about the CIA spying on Senate Intelligence Committee staffers. The Senate Intelligence Committee, apparently in getting computer records from the CIA, found a report called the Panetta Report, which was a parallel internal report on spying, which contradicted the external report that the CIA presented to the Senate Intelligence Committee. In other words, the CIA was engaged in a huge CYA program and lied to the Senate Intelligence Committee as to torture. This was sort of in play during the John Brennan hearings. So, meanwhile, there's been extensive debate, or I should say negotiations, between the Senate Intelligence Committee and the Obama administration, i.e. the CIA, as to how much of this executive summary can be released and how much of it should be redacted. The White House and the CIA wanted to redact even pseudonyms for the people referred to in this report. Now, understand why that's the case. You don't want... what they wanted to avoid was any way for you to see that this person, regardless of what their name is, was responsible for A, B, C, D, whatever happened. You did not want to be able to follow what any individual's set of decisions or actions was throughout the report. So if you redact, if everybody's just called operative, you cannot distinguish. You can't tell, was there one person involved in this? Was there 50 people involved in this? You cannot tell, did this one person have all sorts of authority, or did they have limited authority based upon what their actions were at any given point? It would be impossible to identify not someone's identity, but even where they are throughout the narrative. And that's what the CIA obviously wants to avoid. They want to avoid the idea that this was in any way systemic. Jose Rodriguez Jr., who ran the CIA interrogation program, said Sunday, now, you're Peter Baker, you're writing in the New York Times, you may want to remind people that Jose accidentally, because this is, and if I had a nickel for every time this happened, accidentally destroyed all the videotapes of the torture. You may want to mention that in your piece, but anyway. We did what we were asked to do. We did what we were assured was legal, and we know our actions were effective, Rodriguez wrote in the Washington Post. So you see, the way that you obscure these facts and the way that you end an investigation is by making it clear that we'll never know the truth. The truth is not, we cannot access the truth. They deny that they lied, but they also validate that they lied to give cover to the people who ordered them to torture. And make no mistake about this, the Obama administration does not want the truth to come out. They do not want as much as a lapdog as Dianne Feinstein is for the intelligence community. Even she realizes this has to come out. But the Obama administration is making it clear as of Friday evening that they really don't want this to come out. And if they can just delay it until the Republicans come in, then they can have the charade that is the Republicans who are refusing to put this out. That's how this will go down. On Friday, reportedly, Secretary of State John Kerry asked Dianne Feinstein to consider holding off on releasing the report because a lot is going on in the world. So perhaps we should wait until there's not a lot of stuff going on in the world. Right? There's just so much going on in the world. If you had done this maybe I don't know, 9 months ago, there was a lot less going on in the world. Maybe 6 weeks. Give me 6 weeks and maybe things will slow down in the world. But right now, the world is just so backed up on its email. They've got end-of-year holiday cards to send out. People have got to give bonuses. There's all sorts of wars that people want to wrap up before the end of the year. Just give us 6 more weeks. According to the administration, want to make sure that the foreign policy implications of this report are dealt with. Because this is a real surprise that this report is going to be released now. And there's just a lot of things going on in the world.